Alright, everybody, welcome back here. Episode 9 now. We're up to episode 9 of our 3PG Minecraft adventure. I know we haven't done anything too exciting to this point. We will. They're coming, I promise. Today's going to kind of be the start towards, I think, something a little bit better. Yeah, so just show you guys real fast. Obviously, I finished putting in the flooring here. Added the ceiling, and I think it looks pretty good. I think it looks all right. Cleared out this wall, moved it back to the edge of the mine. So yeah, let's see. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, we really need to start building our item sorter room. We're running out of space here, but we still don't nearly have enough iron to get that started here, but soon. In the meantime, we'll probably end up building a storage room. I'm not quite sure where. All this is going to be filled in. We're not going to leave this open here. We'll probably leave this open over here. I'm not quite sure how this is going to work out, but it's a nice view. I don't really want to block it with walls and doors and things like that, but we'll end up making hallways here. We could push this wall back quite a ways inside this mountain. So we'll end up doing that. We'll put in some hallways and some spare rooms. I moved the front door over here. Yeah, so we'll clear it up. We'll clean it up, but not now. Not now. Today, we've got something a little bit different, something a little bit special. Do I have a spot to put those? Clear up our inventory a little bit here real fast. So yeah, today we're going to be finding our spawn chunks. What are spawn chunks, you might ask? Well, let me go ahead and explain to you a little bit. Hopefully not confuse you too much if you don't know what they are. Spawn chunks are sections of the world, if you may or may not know, chunks are a 16 by 16 block area defined by just a 16 by 16 block area is a chunk. Now, what's loaded into your memory while you're playing is what is within your render distance. Sorry, I'm trying to concentrate here, trying to figure out exactly, trying to get our supplies together. Yeah, so right here, let me show you guys. If you go to your options, check your video settings, your render distance, 14 chunks. So that means that 14 chunks centered around you. So 7 in front, 7 in back, 7 to the left, and 7 to the right. That's a 14 square chunk area. 14 chunks centered around you in all directions. So 7 on every side. All right, so everything outside of that is unloaded and put into memory and saved onto your hard drive and unloaded. So everything in that chunk that gets unloaded freezes. So that means, say I drop in air a stack of logs, and then I run away, take them out of the spawn distance. Things despawn after 5 minutes. But if I sit for an hour outside of render distance of that chunk, when I come back, it'll reload that chunk and that stack will still be there. Now, with your spawn chunks, what that is, even though a normal chunk is a 16 by 16 block area, your spawn chunk is actually a 16 by 16 chunk area. Only 12 by 12 is the main one. That's where your entities, certain entities like your cows, your chicken, your mobs, like the hostile mobs, and some other things. Your wheat and stuff is considered an entity, but those are excluded from what I'm about to tell you. Now, inside your spawn chunks, within those 12 by 12 area, centered around your center spawn point, they will continue to process no matter how far away from them you are. It's always loaded into your memory. Well, why does that matter to us? Well, that matters. So if we have certain farms, like if we want to do a cow farm, or we will be doing an iron golem farm, things like that, we'll continue to process no matter where we're at. So we don't have to worry about it. We can run away and do whatever we want. There's certain restrictions that when you go to the end or into the nether, it will unload those chunks. There is a trick around that. After 60 seconds of entering the nether or the end, it generally will unload those chunks. There is a trick to that, and we'll have to do that for our iron golem farm, because we're gonna build a pretty big iron golem farm. But we're gonna need villagers. This village is dead. All the zombies killed us, so we're gonna have to repopulate this. There's a couple ways we can do it. Probably the way we're gonna end up having to do it is find another village, transport a couple villagers over here, block them up, build a spawn, a villager spawner, a pod, and repopulate this, breed them, keep them away from the zombies, so we can repopulate that, and it'll be close to where we have to be. Because I do remember, I'm not exactly sure where our spawn point is, but I remember when we spawned into the world originally, it was right back around in here somewhere. So, but we're gonna find that today. Yeah, so we'll talk more about the iron farm as we get going along. But, you know, we're definitely going to need all that iron. It'll help save on all the strip mining and stuff like that. Iron is probably the most used thing we have in Minecraft. That and wood. So, yeah, so we need to find our spawn chunks. And I know I said the spawn is a 16 by 16 area, and I just told you 12 by 12 is the most important. Well, those other chunks, the surrounding 2 chunks in every edge to make up the rest of that 16, that will still process your redstone machine. So if you got any redstone operating in those 2 chunks outside the 12 that border those 12, 2 on either side, then your redstone will continue to process, but your mobs won't. And we'll test it. I'll show you a little bit later, give you a little bit better idea of what's going on. We'll run some cows and run a test and see how it goes. But right now, we need to make sure we've got some stuff, just some different color stuff. This isn't really important what you use, and you don't really have to use anything if you're a really visual person. But to actually make it visible for you, and because it's going to help me out mentally too, I've just grabbed some different colored stuff, some different type of items, and I could probably even grab a little bit more just in case something different here. Let's grab a little bit more of that. Not sand because that falls, not dirt because we're going to be running through dirt. Let's grab a little bit. I think I had some more jungle wood somewhere. All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and go like this. All right, so that should work. If we need to come back and get some different stuff, then we will. Let's go ahead and sleep. I know the sun's getting ready to come up. Let's sleep anyways, try to clear out some of the stuff around here. Okay, what we need to do is destroy your bed. Wherever your bed's at, destroy it. Because we need to find the spawn point. See, so now if we were to die, it would put us back within the spawn area. All right, but we don't necessarily need that. We're going to use the handy dandy compass, right? Whoever thought that the compass was going to come in? Oh crap! I don't have redstone. It was going to come in handy, right? Every time you see things like that, you're going, "Why the hell am I going to need a compass? I know where my bed's at, right? I'm not going to get lost." So, but it will come in handy for this. All right. And I think you need it for the maps too. So now if you want to do the new wall maps, you can do that. These guys are burning up. Burn, burn, burn. Come on, there you go. Die. Thank you. Alright, so yeah, if we had your bed, this compass would have pointed towards the bed, right? But now that the bed's gone, it doesn't point there anymore. It points back to the world spawn point. So, let's go over and follow this compass now. Go ahead and close our door, make sure... Ooh, there's a creeper up there. Good, he didn't fall down on us. Alright, so let's follow this arrow until it flips around on us. Oh, crap. Dang it. Oh, what's up, man? Well, these guys always got to be messing with me. Alright. Cool, so back to the compass. Alright. Follow it until we find... Until it flips around on us. It does a 180. Once it does the 180, we know we're in this... right in the general spot here. Okay, so we think we're getting close. Yep, there we go. All right, so it flipped on us. So right now we're standing this. If you look straight down, we're standing in this block. Okay, it points this way. So let's walk this way. I'm thinking that the spawn point center of it's going to be right there in this quadrant. But let's go. Yep, see it flipped on us right there. So if we move into this block, it's flipped. It's pointing right there. Oops, right there. But if we move into this one, it does another 180. So yeah, that's our center point right there. So let's go ahead and mark that special. Let's move this dirt. Let's go ahead and mark it with this oak for now. So, bam, bam. So yeah, so right in the center of there is our center spawn point. Now, that we're not done yet. We still got some work to do to try to calculate where this is at. Okay, but the compass, goodbye compass. There's other ways that you can find your spawn point. That, by far, is the easiest. The others require dying a bunch of times and mapping out your coordinates, or making it to the end and throwing a stack of stuff through and seeing exactly where it lands. The compass is just the easiest. So let's go ahead and grab some different colored stuff here, because we're going to need it all since we're using wood. Make sure our axe is there. Okay. So now what we need to do is go ahead and pull up your F3. We're going to be using this quite a bit here. Okay, what we need to do, we're a center spawn point right here, is of these 4 blocks that we just laid down, we need to find the southeast corner block. Okay, so that's north, east, south. Okay, so this would be our southeast corner block. So let's go ahead and make that. That's a special block. Let's go ahead and make it a special something. So we'll use just the white wool to differentiate it. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to define, if you're using the same seed as me, then this should pretty much, the coordinates and everything should pretty much line up the same for you. If you're not using the same seed as me, just follow this process. The way this lays out, and it may end up being different for you. Most likely will end up being different for you. But if you follow this process, you'll find your center point. This will work no matter what seed you're in. All right. So we need to define the chunk that this white wool is in. Okay. So let's go ahead and switch to, let's use this one. All right. If you look up there, I can't pause it because it covers it up. But if you look at on your x-axis, all the way to the right of your x-axis, you see a C with the number 12 and in parentheses 0. And then in your z-axis, you see the C and the number 16 in parentheses 0. What that means is the C stands for chunk. So we are in chunk 12x16z. All right, that's our chunk coordinate right now. Those numbers will never duplicate. Every chunk is unique and different. Okay, so 0, 0 means we're at the 0, 0 coordinate. So this will actually help us out in the future. This will most likely be different for you if you're using a different seed. It's doubtful you'll be in the 0, 0. But we need to define this chunk. So in order to do that, we need to map this out. So we need to stay within the 12, 16 coordinates. So let's go like this. This moves us along the z-axis. North to south is your z. So let's do this until we reach C16 and in parentheses 15, because 0 through 15 is 16, so that will define the actual chunk. All right, so this block right here, say if we overhang here, that block right there is chunk 17. So we are at the end right here. This defines the end of the chunk. So now we need to move this way until we reach 12, 15. All right, so just count out 15 blocks that you set down, or just watch your chunks. And don't forget, when you're overhanging like this, see, I'm holding shift click. Technically, I'm 1 block up from than what I actually have laid out. So that's why it kind of looks a little bit funky. See, so right now, overhanging, I'm in chunk 13. But this block itself is within there. So now, let's just go ahead and fill this in. Box this in. And, oh, all right, so now we have defined the chunk of our center spawn point. See, now if you die, the other way, I'll just briefly explain to you why this chunk or this block right here is important. If you die, you're going to spawn without a bed in the world. You will spawn within 20 blocks. So a 10 by 10 area of this block. So if you want to use the mapping sequence, what you do is just keep killing yourself. Every time you die, you put a block exactly where you spawn. And then once you reach 20 blocks apart from that you map, so if you die over here, then, you know, and next time you die 20 blocks away from that, then you found that section, then you need it. It's more complicated. Compass is definitely easier. There's other tutorials if you want to figure that out. But so now we've got our main spawn chunk. All right, this is because this one is in this entire chunk. This is part of that chunk, so this is important. So now what we need to do is we need to find the northwest corner of this chunk. All right, so that just so happens to be northwest. It just so happens to be our wool block here. That's not always going to be the case. Don't expect this to be the same. This may end up being over here somewhere, over there somewhere. It depends, okay? So don't worry about exactly where this is. It just happens to coincide for us. And this will actually help us define this other areas later, but just because it's so obvious. But we're going to go through the process anyways, just to confirm. So now what we need to do from this is within the chunk, we need to define, we need to go out 8 blocks within the chunk. So let's go to 12, 8, 7, 8. Okay. So now we need to move this out 8 more blocks. So I don't have enough. So let's go ahead and go out until we reach 16, 8. So then we'll be at 12, 8, 16 by 16, 8. Okay. So now let's go ahead and seal this up here. Oops. We'll get that in a minute. Okay. This quadrant's going to be important. So let's go ahead and block that out. There. Oops. Really? Really? All right. Damn it. Sorry, little testicle difficulties. All right. So, just to differentiate color, what we need to do here is let's go ahead and go like that. Just make this special, a little more visible. So, like I said, we're going to go, even though I've already gotten an idea of where this is at because I know what the process is, we're still going to follow this out like normal. So now, define the rest of the quadrants. All right, so just go ahead like this. God damn it. All right, just fill this in. This isn't important. You don't have to do this, but it helps make things a lot more visible. It makes it more visible so you can kind of understand what's going on. Because I need this too. It's just, you know, don't take it personal if you need a visual aid to help you figure this out, because this is an easy process, but it can get overwhelming. Oops, come on now. It can get overwhelming in a hurry. Okay, so one more. Let's go ahead and switch back to this. Unfortunately, I can't fly because we're not in creative, but we are losing daylight. So we can go ahead and put our bed back now, so I'm not too worried about that. All right, let's go before it gets dark. We got the dirt out. Actually, you know what? No, let's just go and sleep. Knock this off so it's not distracting us. Let's go ahead and sleep, and let's head back out there in just a second. All right, everybody. I better eat something here. Okay, so back out here after sleeping. And like I said, we don't need the bed anymore because we don't need the compass anymore. All right, so that's the northwest corner that we started in. We defined our 8x8 section. So now, and actually it's a 9x9 block section, but I know it's not center point. Don't worry about that. It's not our center point. But what we needed to do this for was we needed to define which quadrant of this chunk that block is in. Okay, so now what we need to do, because see, one of these corners of this chunk is the actual center of our spawn chunk. Okay, so in order to find that, we did these quadrants. That's why we did these quadrants. And now that special block right there, that's why we marked it differently. Whatever quadrant that is, it could be over here, it could be over there, it could be right there. For us, it's in our original where we started quadrant. So that right there, the northwest. Sorry about that. I had to check my notes. Yeah. So just had to double check my notes. So now this right here is the important one. Like I said, if this wool block, let's say the wool block was, let's get down from here, our special marked block. If it wasn't in the corner right there, let's say it was right there in that. Say that was it right there. That would be still part of the same quadrant. It could be right here. It'd still be part of the same quadrant. If it was right here, say right here or right here, it would be in this quadrant. Okay, so whatever quadrant it is, now you need to find the northwest corner. So oops, go ahead and pull up your F3 menu again. Northwest. For us, it just happens to be this, but I guarantee that it's probably not going to be that for you unless you're using this exact same seed. It could happen in another seed, not saying it won't, but chances are likely it's going to be different for you. For me, this is exactly it. So this corner right there where we originally defined is the center point of our entire spawn chunk area. Again, we could have cut this out and not did this whole thing, but a different seed, this is not going to be the case. You're going to have to go through this entire process in order to find your center point. So that is our spawn chunk. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. We know that this northwest corner is it. So now what we got to do is define it. So like I said, it's 12 by 12 from this point, 12 chunks centered around this in all directions. So 6 chunks that way, 6 chunks that way, 6 and 6. All right, and this being a chunk itself. So that's the entity. It's actually, 6. You'd actually go 8 that way, 8 that way, 8 and 8 to be your entire actual spawn chunk. But we're only going to focus on the 12 by 12. So what we need to do now is just kind of, this you don't have to mark out. I'm not going to mark this entire thing out to figure this out. You can just write down your coordinates, mark a couple special points. Like I thought about just marking the corners and a couple spots, center spots around the edge, just because it's going to be hard to really line this out. But what we need to do now, all right, is we need to go 5 out this way. So we are in, when we're working along the z-axis. So this way we'll be subtracting that way. Going, which way we face? North. Going north will subtract chunks. All right, so what we need to do, we're in chunk 16 right now, but the next chunk is 15. So I believe 15, 9, 10. So yeah, we need to go down to chunk 10 that way. So let's go ahead and until we hit chunks 10, 0. All right, so here we are on the, like I said, we went out to 10, 0, 12, 0. We moved out 5 from there. What I did here, just to show you, you don't have to do this. I did this, and I'm going to end up cutting all this out because I'm not going to waste all this wood for this, and there's no need to. I just wanted to visualize for it. If for some reason the math just doesn't seem to add up, take a entire stack, 1 1/2 stack. So what is that? 64 and 32. That's 96. Take 96 blocks. Make sure they don't overlap if you find a hill like this. Take 96 blocks, 1 1/2 stacks, and lay them out in a straight line from this center point that we found, okay, from this northwest corner of this quadrant here. And that will be, the very last one will be the edge of your spawn chunk. And then come here, do the same thing, take another stack and a half, run it out that way, another stack and a half, run it that way, stack and a half, run it that way. You don't have to, like I said, but that's what you do. That's how far you need to go to define your 12 by 12 chunk. If you wanted to go 16, then you would do 2 full stacks if you wanted to figure out your exact spawn chunk, including the redstone spawn chunks. So But you could just do the math easily. Like I said here, you go to this chunk minus 5, it goes to 10. Right? And then from here to define the chunk areas here, you add 5 to this. Now we need to go to ZC for chunk 21, 2115. Right? So, or a stack and a half. So I'm not going to waste another stack and a half here. So let's go ahead and head out this way, and we'll be right back. Alright, so here we are. We found XC120. We've kept it on 12.0 this whole time because we're moving along the Z-axis. So we are at 2115, and that would be, if I laid it out, would be a stack and a half that way worth of blocks. Not going to do that, like I said. So, but that's it. So now we need to repeat the process along the X-axis. So go ahead and do that, and I will do that, and we'll be right back. Okay, and just to show you guys here, I found my chunk there, and I should have stayed up there a little bit longer while I told you, but standing on top of this oak block here, we are at chunk 16.0. That's important, that remains the same. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter if we move one way or the other, but just to mark the exact center point of each border. So we are at 6.0, 16.0. So this here along the line, this inside that way, our center points that way, defines the edge of this 12 block chunk. So go define the other side. All right, so here we are, 1715 C 16.0. We found the edge border here, and awesome. Our base is within the spawn chunk. The village is not within the spawn chunk. I believe part of it might be in for the redstone spawn chunk, but the entity spawn chunk it is not. So if we breed, if and when we breed villagers there, they won't stay loaded. So we'll deal with that when the time comes. But our base is, which means if you have, I believe if you have things in your furnace, it'll continue to work while you are away. I got to double check exactly the entities. You can find it all online. There's a list of entities that work in your spawn chunk and a list that don't. But this is still good. I like this here. Our base is within the spawn chunk. That's awesome. Remember, if you watched episode 1, I considered putting it in that mountain over there because I like extreme hills. Now I'm kind of glad I didn't. So that might be something to keep in mind in future maps that you start or load up. To build stuff that you want to continue to run when you're not in your area would be to make sure you stay within your spawn chunk. All right, so find a place close to where. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually, man, I don't know. I was thinking about just running, putting in the ground, just putting in my border so I know. What you really could do is you could just write down these coordinates, the corner coordinates. What I may end up doing is I may go to the corner of each one and just put in a corner so I kind of know. I'll write down the coordinates of my boundaries here so I know where my edge is. You know, you don't have to be exact with your edge. I mean, you do if you want it to work, but you know, you don't have to line it out. Being in, you know, survival, it's just kind of a pain in the butt. So what was that? That was 6:15. So or 17:15 is what it was. Get it off of me. Yeah, 17:15 is what that was. So now we can go out here to find our corner. We can go up to 10:0, right? 10:0, 17:15, or 17:15, 10:0. So the sun's going down. Let's go ahead and sleep really quickly. These doggies came out because I got attacked by a spider. Oops. So let's just move these dogs back indoors. So I don't want them sitting outside. Sit, boy, sit. Sit, sit. Good doggies. All right. Close this up. I'd already put my bed in. Like I said, it doesn't matter now about the bed. We found our center point. It's no big deal. Okay, so I am going to go out and find the corner. Like I said, let's go to 1715, 10-0. Alright, so here we are. We are at the corner, right behind the village here. This block right here is 1715, 10-0. So this is the corner. I went and I did grab some stone brick. So this is the corner point. And along this line, this includes this line that we're making here. This includes part of the chunk. So, and I'll show you. We're gonna run a little test just to make sure we have it right in a minute. So yeah, this is all I'm gonna do, I guess, for now. I may eventually bury a line in the ground all the way around to define the entire chunk, because at some point it's probably gonna be easier just to have that visual aid. But for now, I'm not worried about it. I'll build this up a couple more just so I can see it from a distance. I'll probably build it up a little bit higher, but for now this will work. Yeah, I'll have to build it up higher so I can see it up above that wall there. But yeah, so this line of bricks and everything inside up to the other corner way over there is part of the chunk. So I'm going to go ahead and find the other spawn corner over there, which, if I remember correctly, is 6-0 and along this 10-0. So we want to go to 6-0, 10-0. Alright, so here we are, 6-0, 10-0, if I'm not mistaken. I believe, let's just double check. But I believe, yeah, I could see it right there. I can see it. It looks like we're lined up with it. So yeah, I just had to double check. So 6-0, 10-0, which is right there, right at this corner. So this, again, like the other one, is the corner of our spawn chunk. Alright, so here we are at 21. It put us in the middle of the water here. So 21-15 and 6-0. So yeah, go ahead and mark out this corner here. Okay, so now go find this other corner here, and that should be about it for the day. So that would be 17, 15, 21, 15. 17, 15, 21, 15. Alright, so here we are, 17, 15, 21, 15. This defines our boundaries of our spawn chunk. Section area thingamahoogie. Our spawn chunks. Yeah, our 12 by 12 entity spawn chunk. Oop. So yeah, very important. If you want to learn a little bit more about spawn chunks and why it's good to know these, then you know, go Google it. There's plenty of information out there. Hopefully I gave you guys enough explanation as to what we're gonna do with it and why it's important. So hopefully I described it well enough. All right, so yeah, we come out here just to make sure, and following the same line should put us right back on track of where we made our center point here. All right, guys, so here we are back here. We came to the corner. We're back at the corner by the village. All right, I want to go ahead and just kind of let's see what's going on here with the spawn chunks. Give you guys a little bit better visualization of what's going on. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw in. You don't need to do this. This is all just me showing you what's going on. Remember, everything on this block and inside this corner to corner radius here, inside this spawn chunk, is the entity spawn chunk. Outside, 2 chunks that way, so 32 blocks that way is redstone. 32 blocks from this corner is redstone. Everything outside of that is outside the spawn point. So since this is redstone and entities on the inside of this, let's go ahead. I'm gonna grab a couple cows. I think there's a couple cows up here. We're close to our farm, so if I need to, I'll just lure a couple cows. We could probably even use these chickens. Well, there's only 2, 3. I don't know. We'll figure out. We're gonna put in a moss here. So we just need some small pins. Alright. Here we are. Sorry about that. See this right here? Yeah, a creeper snuck up on me while I was trying to get this going, and yeah, blew me up. Well, it didn't kill me, but definitely made me upset. So, we built 2 pins. I did this here, I doubled this up, didn't need to, but just wanted to clearly define that this is outside this block zone, and this is inside. So, I mean, I didn't need to do this, but just because the fences are half and half, I didn't want by chance the cows to walk on. What the fuck? Oh, man, what the hell? Creeper, man. Where's my sword? What the fuck? What the fuck? Man, just sneaking up on me, man. What the hell is up with that? Okay, let's do this real quick. So, of course, the sun's getting ready to go down too, so we're going to have to go sleep. But when we come back, what I will have lured some cows. 2 cows into this pen, 2 cows in this pen. I'll have some wheat. We'll breed them and wrap up this episode. I'll be back in just a minute. Alright, well, I went ahead and waited until I could sleep. That way we can get a better gauge on how long we have to wait for this to happen. The only problem with using this as a test is, as our control, is it takes 20 minutes or 1 full Minecraft day for an animal to fully breed. So, alright, so here we are. I got them in here. Again, entity chunk, not entity chunk. Alright, so let's go ahead and breed these guys. And then we'll run out of distance here. Alright, let's see. Got you, you 2 breed. You breed, you breed. Confirm, there's a baby. There's a baby. Cool, alright. So now we need to get out of render distance. My render is currently set to 14 chunks, which means we could see 7 chunks away in all directions. It's a centered 14 chunks, but we're gonna get away. We're just gonna go and stand up on a pillar of dirt and wait for the sun to set and rise from dusk to dawn, dawn to dusk, all the way around, full day cycle. All right, yeah, we're just getting away. I wanna make sure that we are. Hey, another cow up there. I just want to make sure that we are out of zone. Prove to you that it doesn't matter how far you go. Yeah, that it's gonna work. At least we're gonna cross our fingers that our math was right. This'll work. We're far enough away. Let's go ahead and we're going to stand up on a pillar of dirt, just, well, so zombies don't get us, or anything gets us for that fact. I knew I brought more dirt than that. Yeah, and so that chunk, as you would probably assume too, as with all chunks, is, oh man, I can still see the village. You know what? Let's go a little bit further. Let's go a little bit further. I think we're out of render distance. That actually looks more than 7 chunks. Maybe it is a full 14 chunk. Let's move. Maybe it is a centered 14 chunks. I thought it was a centered 14 chunks for your render distance, but apparently it's not. It looks like it goes a little bit further. Maybe it is a full 14 centered chunks. So let's move just a little bit further. Not a big deal, not a big deal. I want to make sure that that village is... part of the reason why I wanted to go up on a pillar of dirt there was stay away from the hostiles, from bad guys, as well as ensure that we are out of distance from that village. I thought for sure we would be, though. But we were. Anyways. This should definitely be out of range. Alright, yeah, we're definitely out of range now. So, let's go ahead and throw a torch there. Yep, we're only about midday, so we got a little ways to wait. So, fortunately, you don't have to wait. I will magically make it appear to where it's the next day. See you in a minute. Alright, everybody, welcome back. I know it's only a second for you, but I don't think a Minecraft day has ever taken so long. Don't know exactly if it was Dad. Let the sun get up a little bit higher beyond the day, just because I wanted to ensure that we allowed enough time. But I'm pretty sure now we did. Let's get ourselves down off of this tower after spending a long night on it. Yeah, Minecraft day never took so long. Alright, is that it? Oh, that's it. Alright, let's go ahead and head on back. Yeah, I would have time-lapsed that for you guys, because I think that would have been cool, but video is probably already long enough as it is, so I didn't need to add a couple extra minutes to it to do that. So, alright, let's go ahead and get back there towards the car. Alright, so yeah, as we come back up here to the village, come on, Chucky's load. Hopefully this video wasn't too long for you. It's going to take forever for me to render because it's I've got a lot recorded and I'm going to have to cut through it. So hopefully I was able to cut it through pretty short for you guys. Short enough anyways. That, yeah, load. Come on, chunks. Yeah, so hopefully I was able to cut it down for you. I apologize for it. Let's see here. So, this side should still have a baby. 2 and a baby. This should have 3 full-grown adults. Look at that. Sweet. Experiment successful. I hear stuff. I got blowed up twice by a creeper here and zombies. And yeah, so sweet. Awesome. Now you can see what I'm talking about as far as entities. So this is perfect. So if we're running a cow or chicken farm or anything like that, then yeah, build it inside the spawn chunk. No matter where we're at, it's going to work. Especially once we set up our timer to ensure that even when we're in the nether or the end, that will work. We'll do that when we set up our iron farm though. So, perfect. Yeah, if you want to know what an entity is, then or what's defined as an entity is pretty much everything. An item entity, a mob entity, blah blah. There's several entities. So just but if you want to see what is how do I want to put this? If you want to see which entities are affected inside the spawn chunks, then look that up. Because like I said, wheat, I know wheat off the top of my head. Wheat is one that it won't grow unless you're within render distance of it. It won't happen. So, but there's other ones, like obviously the cows, the chickens, those will. So there's a list of do's and don'ts. You can look that up on your own. I'm sorry that this video was, I don't know exactly how long it is at this point, but you know, hopefully you found it useful. Anyways, thanks for watching. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video. Do me a favor, go down, mash that like button. It helps me out a ton. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button while you're down there liking it. You can follow me on Twitter at 3ProngGaming. You can also like me on Facebook under the same name. It should be right there under the bottom of the screen. Check out one of the other 2 videos playing up there and let me know what you think on those. And until next time, keep on building. Peace.